Good morning, everyone. It's been a blessed week in a lot of different ways, and sometimes we can get caught up in what's going on around us. I pray that you're having a good week in spite of everything that's going on. And I know it's been crazy, and our focus so often is on the things of the world. And I know Afghanistan is a big thing that's on our minds, and what's going on in Haiti, and we think about the flooding here in America from the storms that are coming through, and more storms are on their way, and all this COVID stuff. And now, if you've gotten your 2 shots, now you're going to have to get another shot. And our kids going to school and wearing masks and all those things and all the drama, if you will, and the disagreements and the struggles that we're having with one another. And then you got the workplace where now a lot of people are being required in order to keep their job. And I'm not here to argue about that. There's just so many things happening. But I do want to remind you of something. And I think this is probably something that we can lose sight of and we can forget about. And we can get caught up in the present that we forget the eternal. And Psalm 100 verse 2 says, "Know that the Lord himself is God." Boy, the world wants us to worship the world. And the world wants us to get caught up in all this stuff. And the world wants us, Satan wants us to be consumed by everything that's going on and by our own struggles and battles and everything else. And as a Christian, God does not want us to forget who we are and whose we are. And so he tells us there in Psalm 100 verse 2 that he is God. And he goes on and says, "It is he who has made us and not we ourselves." I think that's so important for us to understand. I think it's important for us to remember that he is God, that he created us, he made us, he molded us in our mother's womb before we were even born. And it says there, it goes on to say, we are his people, the sheep of his pasture. And I go over, when I think about that, I go over to Psalm 23. "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters." And it goes on and on and on about how God provides for us and how God is there for us and God's loving kindness is pursuing us. And he anoints us with oil, and there's so many things that God is doing for us if we just let him lead us, guide us, and trust him and surrender to him as our God. I know it's hard. It affects my life. It affects your life. It affects every person's life around me. And I know it can be discouraging. And I know that there's a lot of worrying going on. But don't forget whose you are. Don't forget that he loves you. Don't forget that he cares. Don't forget that he is waiting for you to come to him if you're outside of Christ. God is available. He is the shepherd, and he will not leave us. We may run from him. We may not acknowledge who he is. We may forget about whose we are and so on. But understand, God does not stop loving us, and he does not stop being God. And he is on his throne, and he's in charge, and he will guide us through. So today, in the midst of everything that's going on, do not become discouraged. Trust him. Lean upon him. Let him lead. Let him be your shepherd. Thank you.